Book groups are a program run out of the Political Economy Project, where a professor takes a book that he or she likes a lot or is really interested in and shares it with students. So basically, either it could be a book that they wanted to read, have never read, or have read a long time ago or recently read, and basically they say, let's go over this. We'll read a couple chapters a week and meet once a week and discuss what big themes we can pick up from this book and kind of apply to our other coursework or other interests.
In the first half of the meeting, we answer questions that our professor has prepared ahead of time to simulate discussion and thought, and then in the second half we bring our own question that we came up with after reading the book chapter.
The group is generally pretty small, typically around a dozen participants. We sit around in a circle. Before the meeting, I distribute questions to focus the discussion.
A reading group sort of grows out of, at least in my conception, it grows out of this long Western tradition of thinking that you learn by dialogue, you learn by conversation. And so in my reading groups, there's no lecturing. We simply go around the table and people exchange views, and listening to other people's views, and you think more clearly about what your own views are, and the agenda of the group itself is shaped by that interaction.
So it's really interesting because we usually have a chapter of assigned reading every week before the meeting of the book group, and then we come in and everyone kind of just goes around and talks about what they found interesting about the chapter, or something they want to learn more about, and it kind of just opens up a discussion between the students and the professor. And it's kind of very open to what the kids in the group want to talk about. There's no certain structure to it. It's more about what we find interesting and what we want to discuss more.
The basic idea is to provide a broader perspective on the kinds of things that we talk about in class. From different angles, different disciplines, non-professors.
Yeah, I think the book group is something that's really unique to Dartmouth, and it's collaborative culture. You have a bunch of students just looking to learn for learning's sake, and you get to have very close interaction with faculty that you wouldn't get to otherwise in a larger class, and just these small, intimate discussions. And I've made some amazing friends from it, had amazing discussions, and I would highly recommend it to anybody.
So I just love learning about this topic. It's something I've always been interested in, but I also loved being able to manage this on top of my other classes and extracurriculars, because it wasn't too much of a time commitment, and I didn't have to worry about the stress of grades or tests or anything. It was just learning for the sake of learning.
I think definitely it's really nice to be in the book groups because you're exploring topics that you're interested in and not such a hardcore intellectual setting. It's really nice to be able to read because you want to read instead of reading because you have to. And it's also great to meet all the people in book group. They're super smart and hardworking. I would definitely like to thank Professor Cohn for taking time every single term to do these book groups. It's amazing to me and I really appreciate it. Just the level of commitment the Dartmouth professors have to the students amazes me all the time.
It's a way to, with no fear of taking risks or no fear of getting graded or outside of a classroom setting, you can really engage with your classmates and a professor in a topic that you find interesting and really just push the limits of what you might be confined to in a curricular setting. I would say that at your next best chance, you should absolutely sign up for a book club and try it out.